Hello everyone, welcome back to another E3 vlog. I'm joined by Bali. Hello Bali.
Hello MBZ.
Today we're going to be talking about Metroid. Now, nothing's been announced regarding Metroid, Bali.
Of course not.
Nothing at all.
Nothing's ever announced about Metroid.
There's Nintendo. There's Metroid. These are two opposing forces. It's when a immovable object meets an unstoppable force. And they collide, and nothing happens.
Yep.
Nothing happens, and that's Metroid right now. So of course, despite the fact that we don't have an announcement, Bali, I feel something's coming. I feel in my bones. Look at this. This is Samus Aran. This is Samus Aran. It's an amiibo. The fact that I was able to even buy this amiibo should tell you something, Bali. That Metroid is still important. The fact that Samus is a gettable amiibo is that Metroid is an important franchise. So, are we going to see a Metroid game at E3? Who's going to be developing? What are your thoughts?
I just don't... I think it's too quick a turnaround since Tropical Freeze, because I do think Retro Studios would be the organisation, the company making Metroid, because they've done it before, they know how to make a good, solid Metroid game. I don't see them going with someone else again.
So, here's my problem with that. I don't feel like Nintendo want to go back to the well on something like Prime. If Retro were to develop a Metroid game, I don't think it's going to be a Prime game. I think it's going to be, maybe they will go back to trying to do a third-person Metroid, because before development on Prime started, it was originally pitched as a third-person perspective. Obviously, they tried stuff with Other M, but that didn't go so well. So maybe Nintendo want to go back to the well with a third-person Metroid and do it right this time. And maybe Retro, with their kind of experience in doing other things like Donkey Kong, have a new perspective and the ability to go back to that franchise and do it in a third person. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it'd be too simplistic to just say, here's Metroid Prime 4, here's HD graphics, first person view.
Right.
I do think going back to the third person would be a great idea and is a pretty viable one.
Yeah, totally. Now the other thing, Bali, is the possibility of 2D Metroid. In an interview last year at E3, Miyamoto was hinting at the fact that they are working on both 2D and 3D Metroids in terms of, like, they're not kind of leaving one behind the other. They are thinking about them still. So, when it comes to 2D Metroid, it's been a very long time. It's been since Zero Mission, and really since Fusion for the last truly original 2D Metroid. And there have been gaps like this in the past. Of course, Super Metroid to Fusion was an 8-year gap, and we're approaching, like, about 10 years at this point, past 10 years now. Will 2D have a greater chance of coming back than 3D?
No, but I think that a 3D version could implement 2D parts. I mean, we've seen it with the Galaxy games.
Sure.
There's quite long, at times, 2D Mario segments. Why not try it for Metroid?
I mean, if you think about Metroid Prime, there were pseudo 2D segments with those morph ball parts, right? Where you're kind of going through those mazes. So that makes a little bit of sense. That's a great idea, though, if they were to kind of merge the two. And we have talked in the past about, like, our studios we think are probably going to be working on Metroid are Retro and Next Level games. There was, I'm not sure if it was actually from Next Level, but the leak about a potential new Metroid with that artwork that was released.
I think that was confirmed that they were working on something, but then
before Luigi's Mansion, and then it was basically cut off development. So have Next Level gone back to Metroid now, and they're working on one instead?
Maybe, but maybe they're both working on it together.
Maybe. So this is the real scoop, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. Retro and Next Level teaming up for a Metroid game. It's a bombshell. That's it. Fucking, I'm Jeremy Clarkson on that bombshell. Goodbye! And I've been fired by the BBC. Oops. So, Bali, dream scenario. Nintendo announced Metroid. Is it coming out in 2015? Is it a big holiday title? Or is it just a tease for next year?
It's coming holiday 2015. If what I want happens, which it won't obviously, but I think if they can do the turnaround with a game like 3D Mario, 3D World came out back in 2013, why can't they do it for Metroid? I mean, obviously there's a lot more assets perhaps, a lot more to work on, but I feel like if we do see something of this game, we're going to see a lot of it, because whether it's Next Level or Retro or someone else, I think we can take for granted they've been working on this for quite a while. They
must have done. I think Nintendo like to kind of hide in the shadows a lot of their time with their games and not reveal too much too early, and it can kind of bite them in the ass when it comes to things like Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, for example, where we hear about it and radio silence for 2 years until suddenly they come out with a trailer out of nowhere. So I think they probably learned a little bit from that lesson, and are thinking, yeah, if we're going to announce a Metroid, let's make sure we do it really close to it coming out. Of course, Zelda's another big issue where they've announced it, and now it's delayed again. So hopefully that doesn't happen with Metroid, but I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Alright, Bally, I think it's that time again. It's time for the tweet of the day. Today's tweet comes from James Thompson, very active on Twitter, clearly. And he says, if my phone will be cooperative, I think it will be teased, but we'll get no more than we got for Legend of Zelda last year. So he's thinking no full-blown trailer, no announcement for the end of the year. Sounds more like here's a vista, here's like maybe a couple of minutes of footage, and then 2016. Is that likely?
If it's 2016, I think that is quite likely.
Yeah.
But if it's Christmas this year, not a chance. I think if you remember back to the very first 3D World trailer,
yeah,
it was quite a sparse trailer.
It was,
because
yeah.
I mean, later down the line, in come September or August time, we got a really fully blown trailer.
That was when I actually got excited for that game,
Exactly.
because I was, the first 3D World trailer, I was like, oh, this is the 3D area they're doing for Wii U.
This is what they do after Galaxy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it kind of was a little bit of a disappointment, but yeah, I can totally see that happening. It seems like Metroid is something that can generate hype with minimal amount of footage, so if they have minimal amount of footage, they might as well just put that out there now.
Maybe the more eerie, the better.
Perhaps.
Horror elements.
More mysterious, yeah, we'll maybe see. Well, that's pretty much going to close us out for this vlog on potentially Metroid at E3. Bally, where can people find you to hear more of your insane ramblings about the likelihood of Metroid coming to E3?
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Ballyman91, BALLYMAN91.
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at LordNBZ, and we'll see you guys another one of these whenever. So thank you for watching. Goodbye. So in my other vlog, I sang like the Twilight Princess theme, it's just me sitting there like humming to myself for like a minute and a half, and I was considering using that as the outro. I was like, it's too long.
I need to see this.
It's too long of a stinger. Too long of a stinger.